So this lecture is sort of a continuation of the Spanish-American War. We're going to talk a little bit about America's new and growing role internationally in politics. And we're going to start with the Panama Canal. Panama is a tiny little country, and the canal that used to run through it used to be part of Colombia. The canal, where the canal is now, that part of Colombia had actually been sort of leased by the French, and they were going to build a canal. They started it. It was very expensive. It was very dangerous work, so they didn't do it. Um, we needed permission from Colombia to take over that work, and Colombia did not want to give us permission. So what we did is we took that part of Colombia. If you look here on the map, this is Colombia. Colombia had like a little tail sticking out here, which is going to become Panama. But there is no such thing as Panama yet. So we support a rebellion, an uprising, a revolution in this part of Colombia. This part breaks away from Colombia and becomes Panama. And since we supported their becoming their own country, then we get the right to build a canal there where we wanted. And it's, strangely enough, this new country is in the thinnest part of Central America, perfect for building a canal. So we build a canal. Costs a lot of money. We control the land that surrounds the canal. It's about a 10-mile wide swath of land. If you want to know how the canal works, just let me know. There's a series of canals that run through this Gutan Lake. It takes you from the Pacific Ocean into Gutan Lake, and then through another canal into the Atlantic Ocean. So instead of going all the way around South America, you cut right through the canal zone. It's 51 miles long, this canal, which is pretty long. And to give you an idea of what the canal did, a trip from New York to San Francisco before the canal would take about 15,000 miles to go. After the canal, this was going all the way around South America. After the canal was completed and you could cut through Panama, it was 6,100 miles. So it really cut the time more than half to get from New York to San Francisco or vice versa. There it is. You can see the canal is right there. The thinnest part is right there. Some of you may have been on, if you've taken cruises, a lot of cruise ships go through the canal. This is what it looks like going into the canal. 27,000 workers died from diseases and landslide building the canal, but it is pretty much a modern marvel. There's a huge boat going through the canal. It's got two lanes. You can see there's one lane here and one lane over here. One lane here is one over here. And here's a kind of artist representation of the lanes. If you want to know exactly how canals work, I will show you next class. Just ask. Teddy Roosevelt is the one who was alive when this was completed. He had his own diplomacy idea called big stick diplomacy. And for him, it was speak softly and carry a big stick, which simply means that, hey, it doesn't matter what you say. As long as you have a big stick you can clobber somebody with, people will do what you ask. Here is Roosevelt with a map of the world, or a globe. His big stick, what he was going to use to enforce our policies, was the Navy. He created something called the Roosevelt Corollary, which is an extension of the Monroe Doctrine. And the Monroe Doctrine said that European countries could not come into the Americas and mess around. It was our sphere of influence. The Roosevelt Corollary backs that up, and it says the U.S. would intervene in nearby countries to prevent others, particularly European countries, from intervening. There's Roosevelt carrying the big stick, and you can see there's different countries, European countries here and American countries here, and he's the one who was enforcing the law. This really meant that the U.S., according to this policy, was able to intervene or get involved in Latin America whenever and wherever it wanted. All right, how about that is the end of part 1 of this lecture, and we'll continue part 2 in a second.